¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's Mark Tip 25 otra vez. Welcome to El Chuco Sportcast, episode 5. I'm by myself today because my brother is studying for some exams this week. He'll be back next week for some more content. But right now, I just kind of want to talk about a few things. Last week we talked about, the draft picks from the Dallas Cowboys. But we talked about cutting, starting, and benching, like either between Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott, and this new guy DiNucci that they drafted recently. And in a recent turn of events, the Cowboys signed Andy Dalton to a deal. So yeah, Cooper Rush is gone. So I guess me and Mighty weren't too far off of our assessment in cutting Cooper Rush. So yeah, sorry about that, Cooper Rush. But yeah, well, I am personally because I'm by myself. I'm gonna talk about Skip Bayless's tweet on the matter, then Des Bryant's tweet on the matter. And then I'm going to just talk about a little bracket that my brother sent to me. It was about, Mavericks players in certain, eras, like one-on-one, who was the better one, like a playoff bracket in a sense. So I want to kind of go over that and, give my opinion on it, and then you all can tell me what you think of the matter. And then I'll just kind of, again, reiterate that I'm working on a couple projects, but I'll talk about that later in the video. So let's kind of get started with the whole Skip Bayless thing. So as we can see right here, we have Skip Bayless's tweet. It says, "If Dak wants to go to war with Jerry, we now have an exit strategy. We've got Andy Dalton. And I'm good with that plan B. Andy Dalton could win 10 games with his team and get them to the playoffs." And then, yeah, he goes on to, unabashedly promote his show. But yeah, here's the thing. I think it's utterly crazy that Skip Bayless says the shit he says, that he gets to say, and like not take any bullshit for it. And some people are like, "Oh yeah, everyone talks shit on him on Twitter," but like it doesn't fucking matter because he continues to do it. I just like, especially with his stuff out on Jordan. Look, I agree Jordan is the greatest of all time in basketball, for my opinion, but the way he goes about, talking about Jordan and versus LeBron is fucking ridiculous. Like, he gives LeBron absolutely no credit. Like what the hell? He makes it seem as if LeBron has never had to face any sort of adversity within the playoffs. And look, there's some things I agree with, and I'm not really going to get into that. But I just think Skip Bayless is, for lack of a better term, batshit crazy. I think he's ridiculous. And it just upsets me because throughout the NFL season, Skip Bayless was defending Prescott left and right. Oh, he has a great QBR. He's this, that, and the other. And look, I like Dak Prescott too. I think he's a decent quarterback despite what you Cowboys fans may think. He is a really good quarterback. He put up some really good numbers this year. Did it lead to wins? No. But you know what? He can be better, and I think with this new lineup that they've got with these draft picks and the coach, I think they could be a decent contender. Do I think he's worth a shit ton of money? Not really, but you can't really undercut him either. And I think that's what this move is trying to do. It's trying to pressure Dak into sign on their terms. Which, I don't know. I just think you might have to reconsider that. But I don't know. It just kind of frustrates me that Skip Bayless kind of just jumped ship on Dak in favor of Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton has struggled in his career. However, I will say this. A lot of people are like, "Oh, well, he's had a shitty team." Bullshit. The Bengals have actually been in the playoffs a couple of times because of Dalton. And you could say, "Oh, well, it's because he willed them there." No, he had some decent players. He had AJ Green. He had quite a few other players that were decent enough to make them competitive. So let's not pretend it was just Andy Dalton. I just think this is gonna kind of bite them in the ass. I mean, granted, yes, it is good to have a decent backup, but at the same time, I feel you're trying to pressure the quarterback, and as well as just overly disrespecting him this entire time. You're willing to pay everybody else, but you're not willing to give Dak a decent contract. I'm not saying give him the fucking moon, but don't undersell him either. Like, I don't know. Yes, I agree Dak should have taken that first contract when he had the chance. But I just feel that they're just being utterly disrespectful. And I'm not the only one that believes that, because Des Bryant, in his own tweet, kind of made mention of that as well. So we're going to look at that right now. As we can see right here, Des Bryant states that it's nothing against Andy Dalton because he thinks he's a great player, but the Cowboys are extremely out of line. Pay Dak. I watched the Cowboys pay Tony twice, once without a winning record. I guess Cowboys viewing the QB position as a plug-in piece because of the dominant offense. And you know what? Maybe that is the case. But I think I really agree with Des Bryant here. Like, how many times, like, they gave Tony Romo a 6-year, multi-million-dollar contract, and it ended up going nowhere. Like, you could say, oh, well, that's because of injuries and that's because of other things. Yeah, that's true, but even then, it didn't amount to anything. Romo was not consistent enough, and even when he was healthy, and you could say, it's a team sport, it's a team sport, but yes, Romo was the captain, though. Romo was the captain. We gave this guy freaking years to get us nowhere in the playoffs, but we're not even giving Dak Prescott a few years. Like, it's just ridiculous to me how people can be so hypocritical. Give the guy a legitimate chance. At least like 2 to 3 years before we start saying shit. But no, nobody wants to give Dak Prescott even a sliver of chance. Even with a better line, a better, like, now group of players around him, and a better coach. Give him that opportunity. You know, I just think we're getting so riled up over the fact that, oh, well, Tony Romo would have done this, Tony Romo would have done that. Bullshit. Tony Romo had Bill Parcells and couldn't go far enough. Wade Phillips was not a bad coach. And they actually had a great season before they had that shitty season. Wade Phillips was not the problem. Okay? Like, and again, yeah, they paid Tony a decent amount of money to pretty much do nothing. At least give Dak a chance. You know what I mean? Like, so at this point, again, I'm not saying give him the fucking moon and beyond, but give him a decent enough contract that fits his worth. I'm not saying to pay the same as Wentz, because I think that, in my opinion, that contract is a stupid contract, and I've already mentioned that in another video. Y'all can look at that one if you want, and I'll even place the link in the description. But again, give Dak Prescott a chance. And yeah, Andy Dalton's a good pickup as a backup. I get it, but why did you even draft a QB then? What was the point of drafting DiNucci if you were just gonna fucking go for Andy Dalton? You know what I mean? I guess, again, I'm not in management, so maybe I don't understand something, but it just seems kind of stupid to me that you picked up another quarterback when you already drafted a quarterback. I don't know, man. It just seems a little ludicrous to me that you all would go after Andy Dalton and not pay, like, Dak a decent amount of money, because now the money's wilting up, and, like, what's Dak gonna get at this point? You're just franchise tagging him. And at this point, like, I can see why Dak may want to sit out, but again, watch my video, I still feel that he shouldn't sit out. But yeah, that was Des Bryant's view on the whole Dak Prescott situation. And see, Des Bryant played with Dak. You know, and I used to see fans all the time, oh, if Des Bryant had a better quarterback that would throw to him, everything would be better. And that's bullshit, because Des Bryant respects Dak Prescott. He respects the hell out of him. You know what I mean? If Des Bryant thinks Dak Prescott should be paid, that says a lot about Dak Prescott. So, I don't know. You could tell me your opinion in the comment section about this whole situation, but I think it's utterly ridiculous that they even went for Andy Dalton. And even if, say, Cam Newton was healthy, I think that's just disrespectful. Like, that just proves you have no faith in Dak. And he's supposedly your franchise quarterback. what do I know? That's just my opinion on the matter. I want to move on to this next deal. It's the Mavericks bracket that my brother sent to me. I think it's an interesting deal. So I'm just gonna look at it real quick. So what we can see from this bracket, we have different Mavericks players in different eras. You have Luka Doncic in 2020, Nick Van Exel in 2003, Steve Nash in 2003, Michael Finley 1999, Jason Kidd 1996, Josh Howard 2007, Monte Ellis 2014, Derek Harper 1990. And I kind of looked at the statistics a little bit, and you can look at them yourself, like on your own time, just to kind of give yourself some ideas. But I'm going to start on the right side. Jason Kidd in 1996, he was a decent player, but in those times, he was kind of in his second to third year. And it's sometimes I wonder about these because it's like, are you talking about the 95, 96 or 96, 97? What are we talking about? Because if you're talking about 96, 97, I don't think that really works in his favor because Jason Kidd was traded to the Suns at that point. So I just don't think that's a good one to use. But if you're talking about 95, 96, I guess it's okay. But still, compared to Josh Howard's All-Star season, which was 2007, yeah, I have to say I think Jason Kidd does not win that one. Yes, he was a better passer and a decent rebounder for the most part, but compared to an all-star player, which Kidd was not at that point, I just I don't see it. I do not see it. So yeah, um, so Josh Howard moves on that one, and then we have Monte Ellis versus Derek Harper. Monte Ellis had a decent season that year in 2014. He led the team in scoring in the playoffs, but the regular season is a little bit different. I mean, he had 19 point, I think it was 19.2 points, but Derek Harper had like 19.6 points on like better shooting splits, better passing overall, and like Monte Ellis, although is a really dynamic player, and I do like Monte Ellis. I wish we would have kept him, but is what it is. I think Derek Harper in 1990 was a little bit better of a player at that point, so I'm going to go with Derek Harper. So Derek Harper versus Josh Howard in the next round. So let's go to the left before we move on to the other rounds. So Luka Doncic versus Nick Van Exel. Nick Van Exel, although a very decent piece, I don't think he was the same as he was when he was with the Lakers and even the Nuggets. I mean, he was a good player, but I just think he was more of a role player at that point. I mean, he was mainly a role player in general, but he just wasn't as dynamic of a role player as he was in LA. So, and then also just considering what Luka has done this year, it's kind of hard to dispute against Luka in this year. He's put up phenomenal numbers, average like putting triple double after triple double and carrying his team. And again, he pretty much could have been even better if it weren't for bad, you know, lineups and rotations. So I don't know. I think Luka Doncic wins this one. And then this one was kind of hard. It was Steve Nash versus Michael Finley. It kind of depends on what you value. Do you value scoring more? Um, and Michael Finley put up decent like rebound and assist numbers, but Steve Nash is always going to have the better assist totals because he's a passing point guard. He's going to have as much in scoring because he was deferring mainly to Dirk and Finley. So maybe that is a reason you could put Michael Finley. But I think Steve Nash's impact goes beyond just the scoring. So I don't know. I guess personally, I do like Steve Nash. So I guess I would put him before Michael Finley, but you can dispute me if you want. I wouldn't be mad. Like either way, you could go either way between Nash's 2003 season and Michael Finley's 1999 season. I mean, and within 2003, I mean, in 2002, 2003, he had like 17 points, and then the 2003, 2004 season, he kind of slipped down to 14 points. And because I think he was also having some injury issues within that time, and that's pretty much what led to the Mavericks trading him, which ended up being a pretty big mistake. And I'll tell you later about what I'm doing as far as that aspect. Like, because I'm working on another project, I just need to kind of really do some heavy research on that, but I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But yeah, I'm putting Steve Nash over Michael Finley in that one. So then the next round, we have Josh Howard versus Derek Harper. And although Derek Harper was a decent player, he was a decent shooter. I think Josh Howard's, again, his All-Star season was just a bit better overall. I mean, his impact on like the boards as well as just overall shooting, he was a really good player. I mean, and there was a reason why he got that All-Star nod. So I think he goes over Derek Harper on this one. And then Luka versus Nash. As much as I love Steve Nash, Luka again. I just feel that he's on another level right now. It's really hard to make an argument against him with what he's done in this sophomore season. It's almost unheard of. So yeah, the only thing Nick Van Exel and Nash had on Luka was possibly 3-point shooting, because Luka tends to take contested 3-pointers, which he probably should not do so much, but I guess he'll get better over time. But even then, he's still phenomenal. So yeah, I'm gonna take Luka Doncic over Steve Nash on this one. And then yeah, so it's gonna be Josh Howard versus Steve Nash. Again, as much as Josh Howard had a decent All-Star season, yeah, I'm gonna go with Luka. It's a no-brainer. Pretty much, you could have put any of these players against Luka, and I know that sounds stupid. Oh, but it's just his second season. But again, nobody is doing what he did within the Mavericks organization, at least for these players in these time frames, that Luka did within this season. It's just unheard of. And maybe I'm just riding the wave here of being on the bandwagon for Luka right now, but I don't know. It's really hard to dispute that. It really is. But you can tell me what you think in the comments section, whether you believe I'm right or wrong on this. Again, this is just something I wanted to do myself. It just seemed like a fun activity. But yeah, just let me know what you think about that. So yeah, that's basically what I really wanted to talk about today. As far as my projects I'm currently working on, I'm working on the playoff predictions videos on the Eastern and Western Conference. Hopefully it becomes a little bit better as time goes on. I'm actually starting to get a little bit better on like making my graphics. And hopefully there's some YouTubers out there or just other people within the community that can kind of give me some advice or like just ideas about what applications to use to I can make really nice crisp graphics so everything looks, nice and clean. But yeah, I just would like a little help because I'm still kind of new to this whole deal, and although yes, I have better equipment to edit videos now, I just feel it's not enough to really garner any attention. But hopefully you respond to any comments that I have or anything that I do, because this has been a fun experience for me thus far. And I would really like to create more content for you all. And as far as the other main project I'm trying to do the What If Steve Nash Never Left Dallas one. I'm pretty certain someone may have done that, but I'm going to try and do my own, deal of it, give it a go, because I personally, and I also kind of explained this in the previous podcast. You can go have a look at that, and I'll also post it in the description. Like my ideas on what would have happened if Steve Nash had not, left. And maybe with more research, a few things might change as far as opinion-wise, but I still hold a lot of reservations that the Mavericks probably would have had maybe a couple more championships if it was for Nash. But again, once I make that, you'll see what I mean. But anyhow, that's really all I had for today. Suscríbete a mi canal y hasta el próximo, mi gente. Adiós.